when we talked about what is the vision and national service, I think it does not begin or should not begin at the high school level. I think it needs to go to the primary school level.
Leveraging and launching our creative industries in the country.
That's gotten mixed reviews.
Well, I think what got mixed reviews is not the concept, but the labeling.
What we do today will affect those coming after us.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, the Weekend Edition. Coming up tonight in news. Big news for Bimini. The Prime Minister makes an announcement on that island this weekend. Another man murdered on the streets of New Providence. Will the former Deputy Prime Minister return to frontline politics? Plus, an NB12 anchor gets the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm Monique Toot, and NB12 Weekend starts now. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, the development company that brought a casino and an international cruise service to Bimini will invest an additional $150 million into the small island, creating another 1,000 jobs. Prime Minister Christie made the announcement last evening while speaking at a short ceremony at Bimini Bay. He said the investment by Resorts World Genting Group will also result in the construction of 2 luxury, low-density hotels with a total of 600 rooms and numerous added amenities, an expanded casino, improvements to historical sites, creation of museums, expansion to the airport, and a major housing initiative to accommodate employees and residents. Christie said the government agreed to Resort World's request to proceed immediately with plans for the next phase of developments at Bimini. He added that government and Resorts World would also fund several other projects on the island, including roadworks, installation of proper street lighting, and the implementation of an adequate transportation system. His comments came 3 weeks after he officially opened the Resorts World Casino and christened the Bimini Superfast cruise ship that is dedicated solely to transporting passengers between Bimini and Miami, Florida. Read more about this story in tomorrow's Nassau Guardian. Now from the crime beat. One day after responding to a double murder on Wolf Road and Collins Avenue, police were called to the scene of a gruesome murder in the Carmichael Road area early this morning. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, says officers received reports of a disturbance on Jackfish Drive around 5:15 a.m. When they arrived on the scene, officers were greeted with blood-splattered walls, doors, and the body of a man lying in a pool of blood outside this apartment. Roll said the victim had multiple stab wounds to the upper body.
Our preliminary investigation reveals here that there was an argument at the residence just behind me, and that escalated into a physical altercation where we believe that both parties that were involved in this domestic dispute were stabbed. And what we found is the victim, who's here now, he's deceased, and the other person who we believe may have been involved as well. We have him in custody for continuing this investigation.
Moments after making the discovery, police say they were notified of an accident on McKinney Drive, where a silver sedan collided with several other vehicles before crashing into a utility pole. In that vehicle, police say they found another person reportedly involved in this incident.
Upon examination, this male who's driving the vehicle seemed to have some stab wounds on him, and they took him into custody for questioning. We believe he has 2 stab wounds on the upper body. So I couldn't tell you exactly how serious that is yet.
And could you say approximately like how many times this man was stabbed, the victim who's dead?
Say multiple times.
About upper body?
Upper body, yeah.
Upper body, okay.
They also seem to have some defensive wounds on the hand and his forearm as well.
Neighbors say the victim was in his early 30s and lived at the Jackfish Drive home with another man. Hours later, officials said in a statement, a 52-year-old Carmichael Road resident is in hospital under police guard. Police say they found at least one of the weapons reportedly used in the crime. This footage NB12 obtained shows a blood-covered cutlass hanging out of the vehicle.
We know it's a sharp instrument. We've located at least one cutlass. We haven't yet checked the vehicle to find out whether there's another weapon or something in that.
Residents expressed shock that this incident happened in what they described as a quiet community. This latest killing pushed the country's murder count for the year to 61. A 17-year-old boy is also in hospital tonight after being shot. Now, according to police reports, the teen was on Fleming Street off Blue Hill Road shortly after 11 last night when he was shot in the upper body. EMS personnel rushed the victim to hospital. His condition is unknown. A routine search and rescue call led to the seizure of up to $160,000 worth of suspected marijuana and over $2,000 in U.S. currency last evening. Lieutenant Origen Delaveau from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force told NB12 that after Marines from the Harbor Patrol Unit were done responding to that call, they noticed a go-fast vessel near Cabbage Beach.
They intercepted the vessel, and upon further investigation and searching of the vessel, they discovered 2 large coolers of what was suspected to be marijuana.
And do you have any idea how much marijuana that is? How many people were on the boat when it was intercepted?
Well, one Bahamian male was in command of that particular vessel.
The brown and white packages seen here were removed from the blue and white coolers. Next to the small and large packages was a wad of cash confiscated from the alleged driver of the go-fast vessel. Delaveau says a suspect, believed to be a resident of Kemp Road, attempted to get away.
They intercepted the vessel. It's an 18-foot open hull makeover type vessel. The Bahamian male, of course, who was on board is from the Kemp Road area. Initially, he tried to evade the officers. So the officers, of course, was persistent in stopping him and searching him, and discovering that it was. We haven't weighed it as yet, but it's estimated to be some 150, 160 pounds of marijuana. The Bahamian male also had on him some $2,000+.
Delaveau applauded officers for their quick response. Well, police on Exuma are searching for 2 men who reportedly entered a home at Tarbay Stretch this past Friday, tied up an American family who owned the home, and robbed them of jewelry, electronics, and cash. According to a police report just released today, around 11:40 Friday night, 2 men, one of whom was allegedly armed with a handgun, entered the residence off Queens Highway and robbed the family of a man's pearl-faced gold Rolex watch, a woman's pearl-faced lady's Rolex watch, an iPhone, iPad, and cash. We understand the family is from Alabama and was tied up while it was robbed. Police are actively investigating this crime. At last report, there were no suspects in custody in this matter, and police are requesting anyone with information pertaining to this armed robbery to contact them anonymously. Government officials are concerned that some cash for gold businesses that have sprung up in recent years are continuing to negatively impact society by giving criminals an avenue to make a profit off of their crimes. Well, Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage says government is now looking at ways to shut down those businesses for good, while also addressing 2 other trades that reportedly contribute to crime. Paige McCartney reports.
Nottage said it's unacceptable for residents to feel afraid to wear their jewelry or to keep it in their homes for fear that they'll be attacked by criminals. That's why he said the government is looking at having those popular stores closed down. Nottage said he and police have met with many of the Cash for Gold owners, and while many of them believe their businesses are legitimate and many of them cooperate with police, law enforcement still wants them closed. But the minister said the government wants to tread carefully because it doesn't want to put anyone out of business. But he said his primary concern is the safety of the Bahamian people.
All I know is that the risk to people's personal safety has been seriously compromised by this Cash for Gold business. Now, they have licenses, they have business licenses, and we have to tread carefully as to how what we do to get these businesses closed.
With the government feeling as strongly as it does about these cash for gold businesses and their contribution to the crime problem, the question remains, why are they still allowed to operate? Nodit said the reason why the stores haven't been closed yet is because officials have to work within the context of the law. This despite the belief that some cash for gold businesses may also be involved in money laundering.
What has surfaced as we have researched this matter is that there is potential for these businesses to be used for money laundering. And this is a matter of serious concern to some of the foreign governments with which we have relations. And so we are treading very carefully, because as we take our steps, we want those steps to be in concert with the law.
Nodit said the same concern holds true for copper wire theft, which has caused tremendous problems for public and private operations.
The Broadcasting Corporation, the BEC, we have businesses like Super Value, the old Robin Hood property on Howell Road, etc. It must come to an end.
And the third contributor to the crime problem officials are hoping to stomp out is the importation of wrecked vehicles that contain contraband hidden within them. Nodit said this has become an increasing problem for police and customs officers.
We have information that weapons may be brought in on these vehicles, and as you very well know, one of our biggest problems is proliferation of guns that are in the hands of young persons who use those guns for criminal purposes. As you know, most of our murders are as a result of guns, and some of these crimes are heinous.
In the meantime, the government is working on implementing another gun amnesty period to get more high-powered weapons off the streets. For MB12, I'm Paige McCartney.